Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fearless and Fabulous podcast. It is the space to thrive no matter your age or size. I am your host and creator, Melanie Robinson. I'm also the reigning Miss Voluptuous International. And you know that I love to have queens on this channel because they have stories to tell. And I'm so excited because I have another queen from Australia on the show. We are literally got queens from around the world. I want you all to meet the beautiful finalist from Mrs. Galaxy Australia. This is Hamsika. Say hello, Hamsika.
Hello, everyone, and hello, Melanie. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm so looking forward to this conversation.
Well, I'm so glad you could join us. You are literally in the future from me.
That's true. It's 9 o'clock in the morning for me.
And it is the evening time for me. So
Yeah.
tell me, is there anything great happening in the future where you are?
I was sick the whole week, so I'm slightly getting better now. The
Oh.
we had a very beautiful summer all these days and months, and now it's starting to get a bit colder. So this morning was a bit chilly as well. So yeah, not a great. I mean, I'm not a huge winter kind of a person.
Me
I
either.
like summers, but then yeah, you can't do anything much.
Well, I'm glad that you're feeling better. And I always have to remind myself that the weather over there is the complete opposite from us because now we're coming out of our winter and it's starting to get warmer where I am in
Yeah,
Virginia. So it's a total flip-flop.
absolutely. Yeah, it
Well,
is.
why don't you introduce yourself to our listeners? Tell us a bit about what makes you you.
Absolutely. So, hello everyone. My name is Hamsika Prakash. I am based in Melbourne, Australia. I am originally from an Indian background. I moved to Australia, I think almost 13 years ago now. So it was a huge move from India to Australia, and it's been a very life-changing moment as well for me. I am a fur mom. I have an almost 5-year-old Labrador boy. He is my absolute favorite, and he's super gorgeous. His name is Archie. Apart from being whoever I am, which I'm going to talk about in the entire episode. I am also a dancer. I love dancing.
Hmm.
And I we also do a lot of pet hosting, so we look after other people's pets when they're going on holidays and stuff. I love anything to do with being creative. Like I'm a passionate creative. I have multiple different interests. So anything creative, it always ignites a spark in me because I always want to learn more. So I'm always on the go about learning new things, about learning different things and learning how everything works in different fields.
Oh,
So
awesome.
quite inquisitive in that. I'm also a pageant girl now. I'm a finalist for Australia Galaxy pageant in the Mrs. category, competing for Mrs. Galaxy Australia 2025.
Well,
And
fantastic.
yeah.
And you and I have a bond in the fact that we're both fur moms. I have three very spoiled cats, and they know how to, wrap me around their little paws. So I
Yeah.
understand, you just all the love you have for animals. So
Yeah.
congratulations on being a finalist for Galaxy Australia. That's very exciting. And when I was looking at your Instagram, I saw that you are, not only passionate about animals, but you've created a platform called The Real Deal. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. I actually started my platform, The Real Deal, when I overcame my journey with clinical depression.
Mm,
Because throughout my journey, I was struggling to find something that I can relate to. I can, probably feel like I'm not alone. I did find some sources. I did do my research and stuff, but then there was something missing. And for me, I wanted to create that something that I was missing because I realized there might be a lot of women or a lot of people in general who are in the same boat as me. So
yeah.
the real deal is actually a platform where we talk about the real deal with mental health, which is it has a lot of stigma around it. Not a lot of people talk about it. There's a lack of awareness regarding, different mental health illnesses. So I started that platform. As a journey. So
Mm.
as and when I heal, as and when, I go through a few things, I started sharing my real life stories through my podcast, through my blog posts. So people started relating a lot to it because that sense of feeling that you're not alone in your journey, that
Yeah.
actually matters a lot when you're going through something. Because when we are in that phase, all we think is, am I the only one going through this whole journey? Why is
Yeah.
everything happening to me? Why can't I be the lucky ones who gets to live a life like this? But then it's also important to remember that everybody is going through a journey on their own. And for me, I wanted to create a platform where I open up about a lot of my real life aspects, because we connect through stories. And I truly believe everybody has a story to share. Some people
Oh,
say, I don't
absolutely.
have a story. I'm not, no, I haven't struggled this much. I don't measure struggles, because what I feel is a huge thing for me might be a small struggle for someone else. Each of us are on our own journeys. So
Yeah.
it's just to make you feel like you are heard. Your feelings are as validated as my feelings are. So I wanted it to be a little community as well, where people, start sharing things in a safe way. And through my platform, I started with a podcast to start with, and then I launched a book of my own, which is called Connection Hood, where I have practical tools for people. It's a reflective planner where you reflect more on yourself. You
Mm.
try to understand who you are, introspect, and then embracing yourself for whoever you are. We all have our flaws. We all have different
What's
attributes to us.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
then, the moment you start accepting yourself, everything seems to like fall in place,
Yeah.
because you're no longer validating your emotions. You're no longer explaining yourself to people. So that
Yes.
for me is very important, because that was like a huge part in my journey. So whatever I went through, whatever helped me, I put everything in that book. So, and I also made sure that every profit proceed that have like from the book that I get is donated to charities related to mental health and animal welfare, because
Yes.
that is something very close to my heart, because I have lived experiences. I know how it feels to be in that position. So whatever
Mhm.
little I can do from my end, I just, I wanted to do it. And through my platform, I also launched a storytelling event called Tea and Tales, which is an annual event where we have women from, all different backgrounds coming together under a single roof and being their vulnerable selves, being their real selves, and talking about their stories and stuff, and not, being scared of judgments. That was the main thing for me, to create that space where they know they can open up, they know they can share whatever they're going through, and also not worry about being judged.
I
So,
love that idea,
yeah,
just giving that space for women to come together and to share their stories. Because, like you mentioned, I think it's really easy to feel like that you are all alone. And
absolutely.
then maybe you're thinking, well, what I'm going through isn't as bad as what someone else is. And we tend to minimize our own feelings, but yet it's still getting in our ways. So I think that's amazing that you are addressing that and making space for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. And I feel everything starts as a small thing. You can't expect a revolution the moment you start doing something, because there's billion trillion people around the world. There's no way we can go and change every single person. But you start small, you change one person, or you make one person reflect on whatever they're doing, and help themselves out. That's for me, that's like, oh my God, I actually made that person think. I actually
Yeah.
empowered that person. That feeling is something that I cannot explain, like how I feel. Because when I did some of my like the events that I spoke about, I had women reach out to me and say how much it helped them to open up in a space like that. So that for me feels like a better gift that I can, give it to myself, or anyone else can
Yeah.
give it to me. So that has been a huge part of my platform as well. And very recently, I launched my first digital workshop as well, which is
Oh.
called DIY, which is decode it yourself. You're decoding yourself. And figuring out who you are. You're taking that first step towards, being self-aware. You do a lot of self-introspection, because it matters a lot to understand yourself first. If you don't know who you are, your journey is always incomplete. You're always someone who everyone expects you to be, not who you actually want to be.
You
Yeah.
are so right. Oh my goodness. That's probably going to be the sound bite for this episode. Um, I just felt that. deep within my soul when you said that. So, yes, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. Like, if you don't know who you are, your journey is always going to be incomplete. Love that. Well, tell
Yeah.
me, so you immigrated to Australia 13 years ago, you said, from India, correct?
Yeah.
So tell me, what was that like to, go to a very different type of culture? Like, did you have any challenges trying to adjust to living in Australia?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I initially moved, I had a huge cultural shock. So coming from a developing nation to a developed nation, it's a huge change within the culture. So what we were taught growing up was something different to what was the culture in Australia. So initially there were challenges, and as well, because for me English is not like my mother tongue. I don't speak English
Right.
at home. I speak a very different language. So to understand the accent as well, it took a bit of a time, because Indians speak in a different accent to compare to Australians who speak in a different accent. Some of the terminologies, like they cut it short. Like barbecue is called Barbie here, and for a very long time I was not understanding what people are talking. What do you mean by I have a Barbie this Saturday? I'm like, what do you mean?
Well, if
What?
I heard that, I'd be thinking of the doll.
Yeah, me too. Because I grew up with Barbie dolls when
Right.
I was growing up in India, and cut to Australia, and the people are like, my colleagues used to be like, oh, what are your plans for Saturday? And then I would tell them, and I would ask them, and oh, we are having a Barbie together with our friends. And I'm thinking, what? What do you mean? So it took a while for me to learn some of the terminologies and how things work in Australia, but the the journey has been extremely transformative. So I have to cross-culturing, I can say. So I feel like I embrace a lot of my Indian heritage, and I also embrace a lot of my Australian
Yeah.
culture that I have gained through, like, with my experience in the last 13 years. So it has been a very transformative journey for me.
And, I can only imagine what that must have been like for you to just go through such an extreme culture shock. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I've experienced that on a smaller level. I'm a
Mhm.
military spouse. My husband's in the U.S. military. And so we have lived in, a lot of different areas. And I've really enjoyed having a lot of exposure to different cultures, but it's also, a time of trying to figure out, how do I fit in here? So, how did you manage to, still hold on to your own heritage, but still find a way to fit into the Australian culture?
It was difficult initially because I was a very different person back then. I was an extreme introvert. I would hardly even speak.
Hmm.
So initially it was very difficult for me because, people here are like very friendly, they're open, they like having conversations, and I was always in my shell. I was very scared to speak. I would always think, what if I say something like this and that doesn't sit well with, how Australians work? And I would always think twice before answering, and I would also always think, should I answer in a way that sounds more like an Aussie than what I actually am? So initially I had all these things going on, but now I feel I'm a very different person because of my journey. From an introvert, I've now become like an ambivert. Like, if I really know the person, I can be an extrovert. Like, I can speak for so long, but if I don't know the person, I take my time to open up. But I feel I'm a lot more engaging now. I have learned a lot more about Australia as a country and the culture. So I have a lot of references to talk to. Initially, I didn't have many. I only knew Australia from a geographical, whatever I've studied in school, like what is
Right.
Australia, like the capital of Australia, the states, and those kind of things. So I couldn't actually speak about a lot of things when people are initiating conversations. So now I feel I have a lot more things that I can contribute to. So now I feel more confident and more chilled out compared to how I was initially.
Well, I think it's also the fact that English isn't your first language. So there's also the issue of trying to translate in your brain what's being said and then try to say that in a language that's not natural for you. So that takes a whole other level of trying to come through that and feel confident in your speaking abilities. So I can only imagine that that probably added to some of the shyness that you felt as well. Is that true?
Yeah. So with language, so I did learn English throughout my schooling, college, and everything, but um, it's very different when you some of the words that they use, the accent, everything is very different to
Hmm.
how it is back when I was growing up in India. So even though I understood a lot of it, sometimes I would struggle to understand what they're saying because I wouldn't have heard some of the terminologies because like people who speak like proper English, their vocabulary is like great. So
Yeah.
for me, it was initially I would think, what does that word even mean? And I would ask my husband, what does this mean? And he would tell me this is what it means. So that's how I started improving my vocabulary, and now I feel I am so much like better than how I started. Even though I knew the language, it's the vocabulary that would, make me think if I'm understanding correctly or if I'm, reciprocating in a correct way. So it's the understanding of the words that, that would make me like I would just take a bit of a step
Yeah.
back and I'm like, okay, let me give it some time. Let me see what other people say. Then I will know what I have understood is correct or not, and then I'll answer. So it was more like that.
Yeah, and and the thing is, even in the States here, no matter, if you travel like to the deep South, there are like certain phrases or types of words that were kind of foreign to me. Just, like for example, if you ask for a shopping cart, they call it a buggy. And I couldn't figure out what's a buggy? What are they talking about? And so, I mean, it's things like that. So even like moving around the country, they'll come up with their own phrases and terms for things. And so there's that
Yeah.
bit of adjustment there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how about we talk a bit about pageantry? So, I am interested in finding out from you what drew you to pageantry and how long have you been doing it?
So this is only my second year in pageantry. I competed in Australia Galaxy pageants in 2023. I was not prepared at all. I had zero knowledge about pageantry. I didn't know anything. So I had one of my friends message me saying that I applied for Australia Galaxy pageant and I got selected, and I think you should try applying for it as well.
Hmm.
And I had literally just kind of trying to come out of my depression stage. I was just off medication and I was kind of I didn't have a purpose or anything. I wasn't even sure what I'm doing in life. So I was in a very confused state. And then I saw her message and the first thing that I thought to myself, I think she's probably joking. Like, why would she think I am even fit to even apply for something as big as a pageant? Because I had zero confidence, as I had zero self-esteem. I didn't even think I'm, eligible to even apply, like let alone getting selected. And then I spoke to my husband, and he said, "Why don't you give it a try? What is stopping you? It's
Yeah.
not like as soon as you apply, you're going to get selected. Just take one step at a time. If you get selected, then you have a purpose to work towards." So I took almost 3 weeks to even make up my mind to apply for it. So I was doing a lot of research. I was reading through, I was watching some videos just to see what it is about. And then I applied. I was not even sure I'm going to get a call for an interview. And then a few months later, I had my interview. And then finally, a couple of months later, I got told that I was selected. And I went to my husband and I was like, I think this is probably a spam message. Are you sure? I couldn't believe that even like somebody like me could even get selected because that was
Oh.
the kind of thoughts I had about myself that I don't deserve anything big, and that is a limiting belief that I've had almost all my life, like
Mm.
something big can never happen to me. So that's how my journey started. And once I got into it, because it was such a new thing to me, I had to research every small thing. I didn't know anything about it. Like I would sit and watch YouTube videos, and whenever I do like a search on YouTube, right, the pageantry videos or anything it's more the US based or like the
Right.
UK based. So there's not much of Australia based because pageantry is not as big as it is in the US or in the UK. I think the industry here is pretty small.
Yeah.
So I was struggling to find anything like that I can connect to. What is it that I'm, signing up for? So that's how slowly I started my journey. And then the more I, discovered things, the more I started researching and, equipping myself with a lot of skills. I slowly started feeling confident, and I was out in the community doing a lot of community work, speaking. Initially, I was so hesitant to even wear my sash and crown in public because I'm like, oh my God, everybody's attention is going to be on me. Because I
Yeah.
was in that phase where social anxiety was the thing for me. Like I didn't want people to notice me or start talking to me. So I overcame all of those fears that I had, that to be seen in public, to have that spotlight on me all the time. So that's how it started. But now, in 2023, I didn't place, but I did get awarded for raising the highest funds in my category. So I was
Ooh,
like Mrs. Charity, um,
wonderful.
2023. So that was a huge boost for me. But then 2024, I took a break because I wanted to focus more on my health. And, if you're not physically able to do a lot of things, then it will drown you mentally as well. So you need to
Yeah.
know that you have to be physically in a position to take up, because it's, as you understand, it's so much to do for pageantry. People think it's just, wearing glamorous outfits and just on stage posing for pictures and stuff, but they don't
Oh,
realize
yeah.
how
So
much.
much more. It's so much more.
Yeah. It takes a whole new energy, and especially when you're like also working full time, it's
Yeah.
not easy balancing. And you have a family, you have to travel, there's so many different aspects that you're balancing together. So I wasn't prepared in 2024. So then I worked on my health and I was feeling a bit okay. And then 2025 I applied again and I got selected. So this year, I think I am so much more prepared because I know what to expect. I know what my journey was. I know what I
Right.
should do, what I shouldn't do. So I am absolutely enjoying this phase right now, doing so much. And I feel like I'm like extremely pumped up. Like I'm waiting for, the pageant week to meet all the delegates. I've made so many connections already. I'm much more outgoing and I don't feel anything if I'm wearing crown and sash in public, or if people come to me, I'm happy to talk about
Yeah.
pageantry. And like I feel I have a very different kind of a positive identity now, which previously I was struggling to, even though I wanted it. So I feel like I've worked so much towards becoming like the best version of myself. And currently, at the age of I'm 35 now, so I feel now I am literally the best version of myself that I
Oh,
can imagine in the last 35 years. So
that's
that has
fantastic.
changed a lot of things for me.
And I love when women who are over 30 get into pageants because you get into such a different stage in your life. For me, I didn't really get into pageants until I entered my 50s. I'm 54 now.
You're amazing.
And and it's something that life experience teaches you so much about yourself and what you expect from yourself and from others. And I love hearing that you feel much more connected to who you are and that you're enjoying the process because that's what it should be. It
Yeah.
should be an enjoyable process and not something where you're constantly stressed out because that's no fun and that's not helping you develop as a person.
Yeah. And I love that we are all like breaking those stereotypes where people say, oh, you're 30, so you can't do this. So they define what you can do and can't do based on age, which
Mhm.
I don't like. So there's no age limit to do anything. If you can do it at any age, you can literally just do it. Like age shouldn't stop you from doing yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely, girl. Like I hear that so much from women who are around my age, just thinking, well, I'm too old for that, or I can't wear that because I'm 50 something. Like, no, if you feel good doing it, or if you feel good wearing something or whatever it is, just do it. You don't have to please anyone but yourself.
Yeah.
And having said that, I always ask my guests this before we're done with our episode. What is something that you do for yourself that makes you feel fabulous?
I think doing something that I love. For me, creativity is everything. So anything creative that I can, work on. So I love doing events. So if I'm doing that, I am feeling so fabulous within me because there is an energy that I cannot explain. So it automatically comes up. It's not like I have to put in an effort to
Yeah.
show energy. It just comes up, and that's something. Whenever I'm doing something passionate, like purpose driven for me, I always feel so amazing. And it might be also related to like pets. If I'm looking after pets, if I have like bookings, if there are pets coming home, I am so pumped up, and I want to show up as my fabulous self for them because you have so much energy to play with them.
Yeah.
And then if I'm doing anything related to my mental health space, be it like the storytelling event, be it my podcast, be it my events, workshops, whatever I'm doing, I feel an energy that I cannot explain. So I think the moment I'm in my element, the moment I am who I am,
Yeah.
I feel absolutely fabulous from within.
And I can tell that from you. Like you are just beaming. I can just
Yeah,
see the glow around you. And I think when we are doing things that, fill our own cups up, it allows us to fill up other people's cups as
uh,
well. And we
yeah,
don't feel like we're depleted because we're doing
yeah,
something that we love. And I love hearing you say that, doing these things makes you feel fabulous instead of feeling
yeah,
like I have to
absolutely.
do this or I have to do that. It's just something
Yeah.
that's part of you.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
so, oh my goodness. So let's quickly talk about one thing. I like to ask my guests this. What is a piece of advice that you would give your younger self if you were able to?
I would tell her to stop looking for validation because that was something that I used to do a lot. Other people's approval of how I am or who I am mattered so much to me until life taught me a lot of different lessons. So I would tell her to not bother about what people are thinking of you because
Yeah,
the more you do things for them and not for yourself. And the moment I started feel like embracing myself for whoever I am, I overcame that fear of, being judged. Like I became fearless. And I became fabulous. I stopped thinking about what people think of me. Like that changed a lot of things for me. So I would definitely,
amazing.
yeah.
That's amazing. And I think that's something that our younger women need to hear. They need to hear that so much. So, Hamsika, I am going to be putting your Instagram handles along with this episode so that people can follow you. When is the pageant so we can send you good positive vibes? When's the date?
So Pageant Week starts from April 30th to the 3rd of May, and the crowning night is on the 3rd of May.
All right. Well, I know I'm going to be sending you good vibes, and I hope everyone will as well. I know you're going to do great. It
Oh,
has
thank
been
you so
such a
much.
pleasure to talk to you today.
Yes, same here, Malini. Thank you so much again for having me on your show.
It is all my pleasure too. And thank you all for tuning in to this episode of the Fearless and Fabulous podcast. It is the space for us to thrive no matter our age or size. And please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and best of all, share this link with someone who could use this.
Yes.
Thanks again. We'll see you soon.